Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Blue, and let me tell you what happened to me the other day. Literally, y'all, I kid you not, I always dreamt about, not really dreamt about, let's be real. I always thought about the day that I get pulled over and really seeing how I'm gonna interact with the police. I thought it was gonna be for a speeding ticket or something like that. But I was like, man, if only I could get it in actual recording. I always thought about this day. Surprisingly enough, this happened to me and I did not have my proper equipment in order to record. So let me paint this picture of exactly what happened. So it was a Friday night and my niece and my daughter are both cheerleaders on the football team, and then they had a football game out in Gainesville or something like that. Surprisingly enough, typical Apple user stuff, both of their phones had died. So me and my brother-in-law had absolutely no clue when they were supposed to be coming back. Sure enough, it's getting closer to 12 o'clock midnight, and we're like, all right, surely they should be coming home soon. So he goes to the school and picks them up. And I stay at the normal waiting stop, which is the gas station that's kind of like in between where we live. So he goes to the school. I wait a little bit, just to see, when he's going to get them. I guess I probably should have waited until he got them and called me to let me know. But regardless, it was just a weird situation nonetheless. And I went to the gas station. I'm just waiting. I'm chilling. I'm looking to see what body cam videos are coming up that I could go ahead and do some reactions to. And sure enough, I fall asleep. And when I mean fall asleep, I'm talking about like when I say I was slumped, I was knocked out. And then next thing I know, I hear, and I'm like slowly opening my eyes, and I'm like, first thing that's coming to my mind is, where the heck am I? And then I think about it, and I'm like, oh snap, I'm in the car. And normally my first thought would have been, if it was Bella, she would have just came in and knocked through the opposite door, but this was coming from the driver's side. So immediately my mind is just like, oh my gosh, there's a cop that is right next to me. So my immediate thing was, all right, wake up, get myself together so that I don't sound crazy and all that stuff. Sure enough, that is not at all what happened. I did the complete opposite. I was not able to get myself together. I was fumbling over my words. I was just struggling just to open the dang window, just to put the window down. And like the whole time he's talking to me, like I'm skipping words and I'm trying to go back and remesh those words just to make sure I sound coherent, and it was just not fully working. So the cop comes, he's asking me, hey, is everything all right, sir? We see that you're over here on private property, and I'm coming to the door and I see you slumped over. I just want to make sure that everything's all right. I'm just like, yeah, everything's, we're good. I just, sleepy, waking up, and I'm waiting for my brother-in-law. He's coming to bring my niece, my daughter. Yes, everything's good. He's like, are you sure this is private property and whatnot? And I'm like, yeah, I just come here and I sit just so that I can pick up my daughter from, it's kind of the drop off. There's a drop off point. I just been here longer than I needed to because we're waiting for them to call back and their phones are dead. All right, well, you doing all right? Anything going on? No, officer, we're all good. You live over here? Yes, sir. I live out not too far from here. Sure enough, I gave him my license. He checked my license. He saw that my license showed somewhere that was way off, and I'm just like, I live over here. It just needs to be updated. He's like, oh, okay, updated. All right. I'm like, yeah, updated. So he takes my license and goes back. As he's going back, I'm like trying to wake myself up so that I could sound, more alert and like as though I wasn't doing drugs or anything like that. Sure enough, as he's over there getting my license, that's when my brother-in-law pulls up, and then he's looking at me like, what happened? Of course, I just gave him the signal that everything's all good, because I know that everything's all good. Honestly, the second that I got there, I saw the two cameras that were pointing in the parking lot. So I know they probably see me sitting there for a while, and the police officer, and the way that I was parked wasn't necessarily like sitting parked it's a gas station and it's midnight, a gas station that's closed at that, so things were sketched. The police officer probably drove by, saw that I was there, made his rounds, came back because I was there for a minute and saw that I was still there and pulled up. So to me, it makes sense. Yes, it makes sense. You're doing your job, officer, and I'm glad that you came and checked up on me, because who knows what I could have been doing a whole bunch of different other stuff. But that's a job to make sure that the public is safe. And a lot of people don't understand that. Because if we look at it from a different perspective, let's talk about for the other video that I had a while back ago with the young black dude that was in his car. I guess he was drunk or something like that, and he was knocked out just like I was. Now, I didn't take 30 minutes to actually say something like he did, but I was a little disoriented, but I knew exactly what the officer was doing, and I wasn't drunk, so I guess that wasn't an issue. So I'm guessing homeboy already had issues with police. I don't know. But regardless, that's not the behavior that you act, just trying to come out here and fight the cop just because they're trying to check on you. So of course, Bella came out the car, she came around, she sat inside, then the officer came back with my license, and he was like, "This is the daughter that you was gonna pick up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is her." I'm a little more, oriented, so my speech is not fully there, but it's more clear how I'm talking and what. So he hands me my license, and then he kind of kneels over to ask my daughter a couple questions. You just came back from the football game. She's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh, you do cheerleading?" She's like, "Yeah, but the season's over." It's like, "Oh, it's not homecoming?" "No, it's not homecoming. The football season's over. What are you talking about?" Anyways, he continued, having light conversations with her. I guess, it sounded like he was genuinely, just asking questions, but I feel like he was probably just trying to get like legit information. But the situation wasn't nothing heavy. It was nothing suspicious. I will say that I was thinking about just signaling them to let them stay in the car until I got my situation handled, but I don't think it was that light. The officer he wasn't fearful of his life at all. Or the second that he was knocking on my window and I put the window down, I immediately turned on both my lights so that he didn't have to sit here and keep flashing his lights just to see what was going on inside. Just that sanity that I could bring the officer. There was no sense of alcohol. I didn't have absolutely no drugs that was sitting around me, nothing like that. I was just slumped. That's it. I gave him my license when he asked it. I wasn't rude. I didn't tell him to hurry up. I didn't try to, beef him up like, "Yo, what you doing? I'm just here. Why you bugging me for? Is it because I'm black?" Because I was in private property. So yeah, I don't understand why people fail to get that aspect. My license wasn't suspended, so I was like, "Yeah, bro, here you go. Here's my license," type stuff. I was gonna see if he wanted my registration, but apparently they don't need that anymore. Which I guess 2024, I would hope they'd be able to pull up a database that shows whose car is registered or not. And sure enough, he cut that conversation, and he was like, "Well, just make sure everything is good. Just make sure that you're safe and all that stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I completely understand." I was like, in a fumbling manner. What's interesting? I got a YouTube channel about body cams, about police body cams, and there was a video that I just did recently. Same situation, same thing, except the guy was wild. And homie's just like, "Yeah, literally last week it was kind of the same situation where I came up and there was a guy slumped over in his car while the car was on, and he had pills in his hand." Dang, bro, I was just trying to give you a shameless plug, and then you over here like, "Yeah, man, let me tell you about some real stuff." I know, I've seen the real stuff, bro. Chill out. Dang. Sure enough, he let us go. But the whole time I'm thinking about it, like, to me, I want to say that it's the way that I was raised, but I kind of just used common sense, which really common sense isn't so common if you guys know what book I'm referring to. But I kind of, pieced together everything that kind of made sense in my head. And I guess for a lot of people, those pieces aren't just there. So when they try to make sense of whatever's in their head, and they have those missing pieces, that's how they get caught up in those situations. Even the ones that aren't necessarily drunk. We've seen it plenty of times where people that aren't drunk still get arrested. Why? Because they acting off of emotions. They want to think everything is racist, and they want to be all high and mighty and bad and stuff like that. But then when it comes to being arrested, that's when they want to act like punks. It was just an interesting situation to be in. I always knew that if I were to ever get pulled over, that I wasn't going to be arrested. I don't see a reason why I would put myself in a situation where I would be arrested, where I would be put in handcuffs inside the back of a squad car going to the county jail. There's absolutely nothing that I do with my life to really prophesy something like that to happen. A lot of people, like, their attitudes, terrible attitudes, will get you arrested, as we've seen before. Driving suspended license will get you arrested, as we've seen before. And not even just driving. I think driving without a license is just a misdemeanor, and everybody just always end up doing the most, and then it ends up turning into a felony. I don't drink like that anymore, let alone drink and drive, so that's out the window. I don't do drugs, that's out the window. I don't carry any unnecessary firearms. I know that if I hit somebody, I'm not going to sit here and try to run and then cause an issue, because just finding out, that's also a misdemeanor. It's like, to me, I have so much peace in my life, and I just live in a calm manner to where I have no reason to be put behind a squad car. I can't think of a reason that I would be put in a squad car, and I can't think of anything that I would do that would put me in the back of a squad car. I can't even think of the people that I hang out with that would get me in a situation to be in the back of the squad car, unless I was being framed. That's probably the only thing. And even then, I would be calm enough to where they probably either let me go or I would be let out that day. I don't know. Maybe not. But like, it's just one of those weird situations. And to be honest, that's not the thing that a lot of people are thinking about, that's coming into their minds throughout their day to day, that if I do get stopped by the police, that I'm going to end up in the back of their car. That's not what a lot of people are thinking. But I think all these people that are getting arrested in all these videos, I think they need to reflect and re-examine their life. Is what I'm doing going to can get me arrested? And if the answer is yes, I would say that you probably shouldn't do it. But because of the way a lot of people's brains functions, they seem to always be willing to take that risk, which, I mean, I get it. Like I said plenty of times before, I understand like just wanting to take that risk, because the reward for taking that risk far exceeds not taking that risk, whatever the heck it may be. In some cases, not even most cases, in some cases, in most cases, it just honestly wasn't worth it. There are alternates to getting to that point, wherever it is that you needed to be, but they chose poorly. But yeah, that was that day, y'all. Was very interesting. I wish I had my meta glasses and been able to record the whole thing. It would have been it would have been way more interesting, but I didn't, unfortunately, and I'm kind of upset about that. I was really hoping to get you guys like live footage of how I reacted when getting pulled over. Not gonna purposely try to get myself pulled over now, but was very interesting. I wanted to share with y'all, but of course, you guys, y'all take it easy. Y'all have a good one. I catch you later. Peace.